very impressed. The choir has been outstanding. In the two groups of singers, I always wondered why there are two groups, and excellent solo singing, not to mention the keyboard as well. And thank you. I can imagine the amount of practice all of you have had, especially the brass band and the choir. Thank you very much. And to the teachers and the PT master for organizing such an eventful function. Enough has been said about Republic Day, inception of the Constitution of India, which came into effect on this day 68 years ago. This makes it the 69th Republic Day. We celebrate it by parades, by giving sweets in schools, by speeches, cultural shows, and other activities. But the most important is the flag hoisting. The most vital function takes part in New Delhi. It's probably taken part already, where the government, along with the President and the Prime Minister, flag the hoist, and the function is felicitated by the armed forces, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Army, which display their finest artillery and guns and the latest of military equipment. This happens in Delhi for the next 3 days, and this year, as always, has seen the heads of states, countries and governments as the chief guests. And let me tell you, it cannot be anything better than what I see here today in Avila Convent in Coimbatore. And this is one of the best functions I've ever seen, and I'm sure this is as important to us and to India as the rest of the main festivities happening in Delhi. For this year, there are 10 guests of honor from all over the Asian countries, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which are basically everything except Pakistan, China, Colombo, and Nepal, which are our immediate neighbors. I was just wondering what to mention to the students, because Sister said to mention a few words, and I was thinking about how to connect it with the Republic. If you look at how we got our independence, it's not by violence, it's not by bloodshed, not by gunfire. It's always been by ahimsa and non-cooperation movement in a very passive way. Now, I am after the independence era. I was born after that. I am sure most of us here have been born after that. So we only hear from others how this was achieved. But as we see in other countries, we see the news on TVs, we read the newspapers, we know how violent other countries are, how violence also takes place in any society. This brings us the importance of relationship with others. Communication and relationship are the most important things. I thought I'll mention a few points about relationship which are very vital to us. Not only between countries, but also between people. Number one, you're all happy now. Some of you may be unhappy because you're in school, you have to study a lot. But believe me, this is the happiest part of your life. You think it's tough now. Once you get out of school, you know how tougher it is. Here, you're graded very impartially by teachers who are impartial to you, and you get the best grading according to performance. In course of time, you'll realize life is not fair. People are not equal. But you learn how to be disciplined, and there's no better school than Avila School here to teach you that. So first of all, you should be happy in yourself, and that's most important. Number two, keep doing activities together. In school, it's quite easy. You belong to each class. Class 1, Class 2, Class 3, Section A, B, C, etc. You belong to your class, so you have an activity going on in your class. But later on, say 40 years from now, you still have the alumni of Avila. I studied in St. Joseph's Trichy. I still have the alumni. I can go there once a year, meet some of my classmates, and that is a group. I'm a surgeon, so I belong to the surgical club. And if you're a musician, belong to the musicians club. If you're a Rotary club, you belong to a Rotary club member. So you must be part of an activity group, and this improves your relationship with other people of that group. And for this, as you grow older, you have to find a common ground. And that's number 3. Always remember to give back something you learn. Here we have the brass band playing. Don't stop with music now. Continue your music. The choir, continue with the music. You're all talented. And those of you sitting and watching, the tiny tots sitting here, you can always pick up something of interest. But not only you learn it now from your teachers, your music teachers, your PT masters, you learn to give it to other people later on as you get older. And next point I want to mention is show your appreciation. Always say thank you. It's just not for an outsider, not an uncle who pats you on the back and says you're a good girl, but also to your parents. Learn to say thank you. How many of you said thank you to your parents for breakfast or something? Something that happens every day, maybe for giving you a bath, for giving you new clothes. Show your appreciation every day. Not only to your parents, but also to other people outside. Learn to say thank you. Support your friends' goals. And last of all, learn to do an act of random kindness to others, which you do not expect back. What's a random act of kindness? Saying thank you to your parents is okay, but that's a start if you haven't done it. Saying thank you to your teacher is okay, but that's a start. But remember to say thank you and do a random act of kindness, which is just going beyond a bit further. I love dogs and I see dogs outside. There are numerous dogs outside the house. So I noticed that our dogs get the regular food, outside dogs don't, because they go to Coimbatore and keep toppling it and get all the rubbish out and eat, which other people put very carefully nowadays with the new Prime Minister Modi. So we thought we should share our food. So we leave food outside almost every day. We leave some water, food outside, so that it's just an act of random kindness. It's not that you expect a dog to give you food, but you give the dog food. You all will know how, if somebody is struggling, go and help out a little bit. If you are at the shop and somebody is buying, he's short of 2 rupees or a stamp or something, you always give the money. And when you see a soldier eating, for instance, I've seen restaurants, soldiers eating, standing and eating, give them a chair. Because if you go abroad and you see soldiers coming into aircrafts, people give the first class seat. Soldier will have a third class seat. The difference is a difference of 2 lakhs. And people just walk away and say, you can have my seat in the first class. And that's the kind of attitude you should have here towards your soldier. You see somebody eating, a soldier eating, I always make it a point to make pay his bill without his knowing. He does not know who you are, but at least he'll know you have appreciated. These are some acts of kindness which you can do. I'm sure studying in Avila Convent, you'll have plenty of other opportunities and other examples which are much better here than what I mentioned. Again, let me thank you and Sister Shaliny and all the teachers here for having been so kind to arrange such a nice function and inviting me to it, which has been one of my wonderful experiences. Thank you.